got a chance to get out, get roaming, or get the snowball going on this LeBlanc, which was so crucial, especially when he went for the likes of the Electrocute and the Ignite versus something like a TP.
We'll have to wait and see now. RNG back on the red side, TT on the blue, and we can see pretty much identical bans except for that little Pantheon who snuck himself in. They do not want Wei back on that MVP performance.
Yeah, as I said, like, Pantheon is just perfect for Wei. It's exactly the playstyle that he loves playing. However, taken off the board, I imagine at least with the Taliyah here locked in, Captain is eyeing himself up a Lucian, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that one picked up on the next rotation. However, RNG maybe beat him to the punch, as they take an AP jungler for themselves as well. Although I think I'd rather see them go towards the support role here, solidify something like the Leona, because the biggest issue is if you go towards something like the Lillia in the jungle, you're not leaving yourself open with a huge amount of engage or follow-up there. So you want to be able to get like the slows and have this front line that can then follow up aggressively with this Lillia.
How it all works out for them in the end. Lillia picked up, and then Lucian as well. That could be flexed into a top or mid position, and we actually saw TT running it as well during the Demacia Championship. So they're trying to get rid of that very potent top lane. There is a Renekton available, so if they do want to try and combo that, and it looks like they are going to, that is definitely an option available for TT.
Now the big question is if Xiaohu wants to try and match this, because you could potentially go for something like the Aatrox and try and have Wei play aggressively towards the top side again. Start to get the snowball over in favor of the Aatrox in that matchup. This is Aatrox Renekton is a very, very snowbally matchup. But there is, as you said, always the potential to just pop that Lucian in towards the top lane and make a living hell there for the Renekton. I'd be surprised if Xiaohu has gone so deep into the likes of, say, like a Quinn or some of the more traditional counters that we do see in that top lane. So maybe just take the Lucian up there instead.
See what they want to go for it there. Again, can use that Gragas as a bit of a flex. They're going to be able to try and push that either towards the top or the support role. Ming looked very, very comfortable on that pick. Pixel perfect explosive cast, just setting him up very, very nicely. And overall, it still feels like it's going to be a little bit easier for RNG to kind of, move their comp around. It feels like you're looking at TT, you're very much focusing on that top side. You kind of need that Taliyah Renekton combo to really work out. You know that's what they're going to be going for, and it's definitely something you want to see them going to do, because otherwise they're not really utilizing the combination that well.
If RNG ban away the Syndra here, this spells to me that chances are this Lucian's going towards the mid lane. They're kind of getting rid of anything that's a little bit pesky for the Lucian to deal with, specifically in that mid lane matchup, and giving free roam to Cryin. So yeah, I think this Lucian is certainly going to be going towards the mid lane. And now you've got this very strong mid lane. You've got Gragas that, if he's unlocked from this bot lane, can work very well to try and facilitate that. But definitely, I think, at least now for the moment, RNG will still try and look for their AD carry in their next rotation, which is why you're seeing TT trying to ban away some of the more pesky ones here for Jhin, and then they can still leave at least the flexibility up in the air. But certainly I think this is going to be mid lane Lucian support Gragas.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the kind of flex you can go towards. Again, they can use the flex, as we said, towards the top side, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Now it's Gragas into the top side with Xiaohu, and Ming taking his very, very, very well-known Alistar towards the bot lane.
Yeah, so again, you've got a very strong bot lane if you can set it up. However, we're starting to again dip very far down that tier list when we look at the AD carries. I mean, you already see the Kai'Sa ban, the MF ban, Samira gone as well, Jhin taken off the board. So now we're getting into kind of Ezreal Aphelios territory. Maybe we start to see them go back towards that Kai'Sa again, but you are struggling when you're looking at that AD carry list.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit limited on the side of RNG. But however, what I will say is you've already technically got an AD carry. You've got the Lucian, so that Lightsinger being able to kind of put out that extra DPS is definitely something that's in your favor coming into the last few picks. The Leona locked in for Teeen. Definitely something that we've seen. I think we've almost seen it 100% today, I believe. Maybe it wasn't in the first game.
Look,
I'll have to look back
she has
into
had
it.
insanely high presence. She's the strongest support on the current patch. Like, she does well into pretty much everything. So, and does everything you want from a support right now. Engage, very tanky, gives you a lot of bot lane pressure as well, so you can go for the early dragons. It's all just well and good when you look at the game.
And that was going to be the final lock. It's going to be the Xayah. We had a Xayah earlier today. Did not look the greatest for our boys on E-Star, but see if Gala can make anything else happen with it. In fact, I will say the one thing I'll say, yes, Xayah is not great right now, but she doesn't have to be because you have the Lucian, so you have that early game AD carry who will be hitting those spikes. And overall, I feel like TT, if they play their cards right, I feel like they have a little bit more early game. They could snowball this.
Yeah, it's definitely TT favored when we look towards like the first few levels, and even certainly when we look towards a one-item spike. But as we start to progress kind of towards the second item, that's where it starts to get a little bit shaky, and certainly starts to swing back in favor of RNG side. I still don't think this is just as simple as you know, TT can get the ball rolling early. Like Gragas can do reasonably well into the top lane against Renekton. Now Renekton will still shove in, but Gragas can at least keep himself safe up there. The Lucian Jayce matchup, Lucian can have some opportunity to go aggressive, depending on what form the Jayce is taking. So it's not as easy as just, oh yeah, this is TT favored. We're definitely still a lot of back and forth here in this game.
Have to wait and see how it all goes for TT. They need to shore up the mid to late game shot calling, get themselves an opportunity, and you know, my captain, try and get him just going on this Jayce pick. Where on the other side, I feel like for RNG, you never need to change anything last time. Wei looked fantastic, and you just, with the Lillia, has a lot of DPS, very, very strong clear, so they've got so many opportunities to kind of just rinse and repeat the last game.
Yeah, the only downside that I will say for RNG here is that without a definitive winning lane, this Lillia could struggle a lot. Lillia likes to be able to get into the enemy side of the jungle, steal away a whole bunch of stuff, and really get herself up and rolling where she's hitting level 9, level 11, and having a bigger impact with those sleeps. But without the ability to just guarantee a pushing lane, it's going to be Wei playing on the back foot. It's not like he has an easy lane to go and gank either, because you've no definitive CC in the mid lane, and top lane too. Chelizi can do a pretty good job of turning around some of these early plays.
We'll have to wait and see. You did hear the Gyos coming out for potentially the last time today. And overall, for RNG, we talked about it briefly about, you know, how this was a spiritual test for the fans of this organization. A 2-0 here will definitely make you feel a lot better about 2021. You just need to kind of hope that it continues on right up until the Spring Festival, up until about February, so you get about 3 or 4 games in before that happens. And if you can get 3-1, 4-0, either or, like, you would be very, very happy with that, but not really the biggest of tests considering who they're against.
Nice job here from TT though to split them up. You can see Taliyah has gone for the invade alongside Sam D and Teen, and this means that when we look at the grand scheme of things, Chelizi will be left as lonesome, but it allows Sam D and Team to bully this bot side where they already have a very strong 2v2. And as well, don't forget, as we said, like, Wei doesn't really have the opportunity to make much happen on the top side of the map. Xiaohu opting for this phase rush Gragas. This is a very defensive style of Gragas, with the whole idea being, if this Chelizi, this Renekton, tries to slice and dice in, you body slam, you end up hitting an auto and your Q, which gives you the phase rush and allows you to disengage before you can get any sort of turnaround coming in from the left.
We see the struggles you have when against the Leona. You have to give so much respect to that bot lane duo. You can see Ming and Gala just taking whatever CS they possibly can, backing themselves away. Bless walks over wards. They are full knowledge of him being here. They did a full clear onto the blue side of RNG. Cryin, he should be aware. I was gonna say he should very much know that this is definitely gonna be a thing. But now, see Cryin just flashing an emoji, going himself back, and now the Taliyah might look for something in this bot side. But again, more vision. They're trying to go for a dive, but this is a little risky. There is a lot here. They have to force the flash out of Gala, and I don't think they're gonna be able to get anything else. They miss a hell of a lot of other CC abilities, but they still deny a massive wave to this RNG bot lane.
Yeah, this is big. The fact you're getting this far ahead is Sam D and Teeen here in this bottom lane by denying all this farm and experience. Like, this is going to suck as Gala, especially as you said, like, late game AD carry, crit AD carry here for Gala. Denying this much just sets you up so well as TT on the bottom side. 2 plates as well.
Yeah, a lot of XP and gold, and Bless is not done. Bless has got himself a flash as well. The double TPs coming in as Ming runs away. He had the phase rush, so he gets the extra little bit of movement speed and keeps himself alive. Xiaohu jumps over, has not got really that much mana in him. They do force a couple of summoners out, and in the end, it ends up being first blood to RNG.
The first blood does go across, but I think the damage has been done. You're 12 CS down in the spot side. You didn't get the kill. You're still a level behind Sam D and Teen as well. Like, this is bad news bears. Now, the kill does go across to Cryin, which is fantastic. Will help him out in this double AD matchup in the mid lane. But overall, I'm still giving the edge here to TT.
I think overall, the experience and the gold is a little bit too much, and we talk about Gala being on Xayah, very, gold-reliant champion to become relevant in that later stage of the game. Definitely going to be feeling the hurt. We saw how much it can hurt in an earlier series today as the E-Star's bot laner Rat was not able to get anything done once that mythic was finished up by his opposite laner, but it's a different game, different set of champions, or, supporting champions, and a different set of players, so maybe RNG could do a slightly better job.
The big thing here for me from TT though is, look, you just burnt the 2 TPs from the solo laners in RNG. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to use this for? Because you can look at Chelizi here, who's gone for a quick recall. He can make a play over towards this dragon if you really want to, start to get a couple of these dragons in your favor. You can actually look with this pushing bot lane potentially to with the ward that's in bot side, go for a gank or at least get a TP from Chelizi and catch off Gala and Ming and put them further behind. There's a lot of options here for TT. They got to make one now.
I was going to say, Sam D does not have his flash, but Ming does. Do they have the damage to push him down? Is it... Oh, it's ticking, yes! He just about keeps himself there. Gala, though, with the cleanse. Is he going to be able to get away from this? Leona, Teen, trying his very, very best to get this kill back, but Ming says no. That is my AD carry. You will not get anything from this. They even brought way down just for extra support, and RNG equal out the bot lane.
Beautiful from RNG to get that kill, but a misplay from TT. We just pointed out the fact you've got a deep ward there in bot lane for Chelizi. He can TP in, but instead they're committing to this top side.
Xiaohu trying to get himself away, did get himself a body slam, and they are going to try and just keep him away from that second turret. Nicely done, and that is the power we talked about of this Renekton Taliyah combination.
Fantastic from Bless as well. Flashing in front of that body slam to prevent that Gragas from getting away meant that they got the easy flick back. Now, it didn't actually go over the worked ground, but either way, it still works out. They get the kills, and that's the main point to call here, is now a kill going the way of Taliyah. Bless has been everywhere in this early game, and everything he touches has turned to gold for TT.
Again, we'll get to see now with Xiaohu not getting a pretty favorable start, how he's able to stand up and be counted, or even at all, as the culling going to be used to massage Captain's back. Free of charge, of course. And again, just backing away, and overall, you're looking at the CSs, you're looking at kind of the way the map state is. It's a 1,000 gold lead, or just a little bit under it for TT, as they just kind of had the opportunity to get these advantages from the just better laning.
And look as well here, I mean, this wave is going to shove out just off of this push from RNG, but at least now, again, you can push this in from RNG, you can Gala, get it back, move, get at least a little bit of a safer recall for yourselves, and there's not like, you don't mind giving over this first dragon as RNG, but certainly what you can try and do is push this wave, have Ming reset, go up towards the Rift Herald, and have a man advantage at Rift Herald. So there's still options here for RNG to put back into this game, and a lot of that did revolve around that play bot side, which is why I would have liked to see Chelizi make that TP bot, rather than making the call to go to dive in the top lane.
Well, overall, you're still going to be feeling pretty good for TT, as Bless is hiding up at this top side. Xiaohu, you need to know something's up here, buddy. Yep, got his finger straight away. As I say that, though, they get the flick back. The explosive cast doesn't hit anybody, but it does deter the rest of TT. Xiaohu definitely starting to see a couple of cracks again. Mid laner to top lane, not the easiest of transitions, so it's going to be some growing pains. It's going to have some not nice times, and people are going to recognize it as a weakness.
Yeah, and it is a weakness. I mean, Xiaohu with that play has just cost the Rift Herald. You can see Bless starts that up straight away, especially his way is going to be spotted on this bottom side of the map. And unfortunately for RNG, that's going to give a little bit more gold over towards TT. They can look to inject that into pretty much wherever they want. Captain could do wonders with it. Same when we look at Chelizi in this top lane. And when you've already done a lot of damage to this top lane turret, it could just be worth putting Xiaohu on.
Oh, the Weaver's wall to back him up, but just a little bit too late. Xiaohu had already kind of done the fight there. They have got the Rift Herald. They can use it straight away just to pop down this turret, get all that gold into the Renekton. That is exactly what they are going to do, as they are fully aware with the cry of the Cloud Drake falling down that there is absolutely no one from RNG coming to help this Gragas.
And now you shove in this top wave. You still have TP available for Chelizi here, so let's go and make some plays with this Renekton. He's fed as all hell, and he can certainly do some damage if he gets access to the likes of Gala in the spot lane or even Cryin in the mid lane. Xiaohu, I'd like to see him try and freeze this. Oh, great job. No, never mind. I was going to say great job here, because Chelizi now is in a position where he has to try and make something happen. Because if you don't, you can just have this farm here, Xiaohu. You're not worried about a dragon for another 4 minutes. There's no Rift Heralds. And you can just farm it out, force Chelizi to overextend, and give easy opportunities for a way to chase down the Renekton in the top lane. But instead, he shoved it out and not really going to look to try and get himself back from this deficit.
I was gonna say, I thought I was casting with LS for a second there when you were talking about.
I know. Look, I agree with him. It's a good point. Freezing the wave there is a good call.
I'm not saying I don't disagree. I'm just saying that, like, I can see it as you explained it there why you would make that call, because it's definitely something that you got to keep an eye out, especially when there's no real objective to take and you're at the safety of your tower rather than pushing it into the safety of his. But yeah, not freezing. Possibly not the best call there, especially considering how far behind he is with the 20-odd CS, or probably even a little bit more once Renekton gets to push this one out.
We need someone who's going to bring LS's teachings to the main stage. Since we no longer have LS on a broadcast, we need to make sure that, like, he still lives on through something.
Trust me when I say this. LCK Twitch chat will not let LS die. They are dedicated fan base. He will be alive and well for years. And speaking of alive and well, I don't think Captain's going to be. He's going to take a little bit of a nap, and he's almost certainly going to die here. That is going to be Wei picking that one up. There is a TP coming in, though, and that is going to be Chelizi dropping in. But Xiaohu, you weren't able to join your team. I probably should have went up and around to the left near the blue buff, and that is going to be a trade of kills. Gala has to go up into the feathers. Now he's in a lot of trouble. There's the final shot. Gala flashing himself away. But TT positives, 2,500 gold coming up to the 11-minute mark.
And this is something that TT has actually been quite good at, is their early game. Like, when they've got a game plan, they execute it very well. It's the mid to late game that really lets them down. Now, though, TT, smelling blood in the water, are sharks moving down into this bottom lane, picking up more gold and potentially this bot lane turret for themselves.
That'd be 10 plates if they're able to pick this one up completely. And Gala with no flash, cleanse, or ultimate, he has to be so careful. You can see them here. They're probably just going to try and shove this wave in again. And maybe just look for that last little bit of plating, because right now they're just in total control. This is the fear we kind of had with RNG, where it was like, if you know, Xiaohu isn't on someone who's able to get further and further ahead, if he has to play a role carry or roll to his carries, is he going to be able to kind of stand up to that? And it doesn't look like it right now on this Gragas. He hasn't had the best of starts in this game.
No, it's been pretty sad here, especially with the amount of pressure that Bless has been able to exert on the top side. We saw them split the map in the early game, and I thought, okay, maybe we'll get full attention down towards this bot side, but Bless has been so good this game, realizing, hey, look, you know what, with the massive XP and gold difference that's come from the CS we denied in those early games, bot lane's fine. Sam D and Teen, you're on your own now. I'm going to go invest more time with Chelizi. We're going to become best of friends and make sure that Xiaohu has no fun time in this game.
And Cryin, not crying just yet, as he gets himself out with the relentless pursuit. And overall, with the dragon coming up in just over a minute, excuse me, all these players are going to start looking at, where's my first mythic item coming in? Where's the money coming from? Who are we going to look to try and send first? Because Wei's had a good start to this game in terms of CSing, but he's not been as impactful as Bless. And I feel like, you know, we're going to probably sound like broken records if you watch this. As I say that way, to be so careful, buddy. You need to back up now as they... Oh, Sam D, though. Sam D's been caught. They had vision. Oh, no. And it's all over again. That feels like the second time we've seen that happen from TT.
And this is what I was talking about. Their setup around objectives really lets them down, where one key member will get caught out, and it ends up spoiling the whole lot. Now, RNG in firm control, 20 seconds to kill this dragon, and you could either try and force the dragon early, or hang on, Ming.
Oh, Ming doesn't actually get caught out here, and this is a little bit of no man's land. There's the flash in, they does get the Q down, they're going to drop down the sleep as well, and here is Xiaohu, and everybody just gets bopped up and around. That is a huge amount of damage, and again, TT are caught with their hands in the cookie jar.
Oh god, it's Xiaohu drinking, but it's TT that are buying. He just comes in, bops everyone, dead as you like. RNG get away scot-free, and what was 1 turned into 2 to 3 to 4 kills now for Cryin in this mid lane. Kraken Slayer already completed. Dragon goes over to RNG. That was a disastrous call from TT.
Oh, they just overforced. We saw this in the last game. They tried to catch out Ming on the Gragas, and they just overstayed their welcome. They had no need. They just lost Sam D as well. That was effectively an ace because they lost They lost the Jhin, Sam D, and then all of a sudden they lost 4 more. Let's see what the plan was here. Watching look at the pro view quickly of just Sam D. They just caught him straight up.
Yeah, I mean, you know that entire time. And great job here, by the way, from Ming. Headbutting to the creep so then he doesn't get CC locked. And then from here, way over the wall, Xiaohu comes in. This body slam. Oh, into Ming knockup. It is nasty to watch. And look, TT paid for their sins. Overall, though, you can see actually in the bottom left-hand corner, though, TT are looking to get towards this second Rift Tower for themselves. Maybe try and get some more gold, because it had looked so good to begin with. But as always, just not quite able to get themselves in the right place at the right time.
More like they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. They had no real reason to be there. And overall, TT, this is what's going to cripple them this year. It is very similar to kind of what we saw with Dominance. You know, moments of brilliance, moments of like, oh wow, they're controlling it. This looks good. This looks like they could maybe get something going. They had the advantage. They had about 3,000 gold. And now it's equal. And yes, you'll get the Rift Herald in the mid lane, but there's nothing else to kind of go for it. Double sleep. Teen is there, though, to play bodyguard. Ming goes in. He has to get stunned before he can pulverize. And now RNG, they're feeling confident. They're feeling like they can take on the world because they're the ones that go for it. But that might have bited them back straight away as they caught them with the solar flare. And oh, Ming giveth, Ming taketh away. He just absolutely just got himself caught. Weaver's Wall going to keep them away from the tower as they take that one down. Captain is there off to the side. He might try and find a cheeky snipe, but he is on a ward. Now sees it. Good job. And oh, Ming didn't need to go on that, buddy. There's no read to go for there. And yeah, this game is kind of devolving a little bit.
Just a smidge. Yeah, I mean, no reason to go get the CC locked, so can't actually get the pulverized portion of the combo off. And Ming as well is operating off the phase rush now. I personally really like the phase rush. It gives you the ability to like chase members down, and specifically to get the E, the trample, that stun off. It's super nice, and just going for these quick combos where you can get in, get out. But you can see there, because you don't have the aftershock, you're not particularly tanky. Forced to burn the unbreakable fairly quickly, which means the second that goes down, TT go in. Great solar flare, as you said, coming through from Teen to lock things down. And this is why, like, I want TT to succeed. When, like, the players actually have really good mechanics, they can play these fights well. It just seems like the synergy isn't quite there, and the way they want to set up for these fights always falls short. However, when they find the right moment, like they just saw, they can collapse very, very quickly and find the teamfight victory that they want.
And as I was saying, like, again, Caster Curse, I had just praised how well RNG kind of brought themselves back into this game from a gold perspective. They have the dragon stacking. I was like, this is awesome. They're equal on gold. They've effectively lost nothing in terms of their early game trades. And then they just throw it away. There was no need for Ming. You could see why Teen was there. That's why Teen is up that far up. He's like, look, even if you try to go in, even if someone does step that little bit too close, you can get the headbutt off. I'm here to instantly Shield of Daybreak you, and there's nothing you can do. You can't follow up with the Pulverize because it will just count towards when you next get off that animation. So just a bit of an overstep at Ming. It was looking so good. I was so happy, and then he just kind of threw it away.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's been the most heartbreaking thing about RNG is that sometimes they look good, other times not so much. Captain.
Ooh, definitely quick on the old trigger fingers, and that is not an easy wall to flash either, so nicely done by him. But however, Summoner down for this dragon fight in 40 seconds. That being said, the Wei does not have the ultimate from the Lillia either, so bit of a trade-off. Depends on how both these teams set this up, but it feels like TT are the ones in the driving seat. They're the ones dictating who's going where in this setup for this dragon.
I mean, they have mid-priority here, so in theory, they should be able to push in. You can see they're already clearing out the vision RNG is put down. I'm just going to be moving over towards that objective. You can see Xiaohu as well starting to move down from this top lane. They want to try and contest this as RNG, but realistically, they're not in the best of positions to try and go for this. It's very scary trying to take back control against the Leona and also the possibility of Taliyah separating folks off the movers.
That means that the dragon stacking for RNG is now kind of on a bit of a delayed timer. They've lost the third Drake, which means they have to wait at minimum 10 minutes, which means we're coming up toward the 30-minute mark before they have all of those Drakes stacked up for a soul. But Ming, ooh, nice little sidestep, forces the flash out of Bless, but Teeen is there to try and help out his jungler. Ming flashes away. They do not get the solar flare down. Gala is perfectly timed on that ultimate. They're trying to use the curtain call to maybe get some more damage down. Gala just walking away from Bless. They find a kill out of the most unlikely of circumstances.
Chelizi, though, is kind of off on his lonesome here, trying to maneuver down from top side, but will manage to bypass RNG. Nice pick from RNG. They get the tower to boot as well, which was the actual goal of that whole play from RNG. So TT just handed them a little bit more, and they will be able to back away. But we're starting to see now this is becoming a bit of an issue for TT. Yes, they had this gold lead, but they've given control back to RNG. Then again, they give a little bit more to RNG. And when we've got a double AD carry scaling and also a late game crit scaling AD carry on RNG side, if this game does go to 30 plus minutes, I'm favoring RNG in a lot of scenarios.
I kind of have to agree, to be honest with you. They feel like the more cohesive shot calling. They feel like they have the better idea of where they want to be, how they want to do things. However, have seen them throw it away. You can see here, this was one flick. That was one flick away from literally Ming just dying. So, again, as I said earlier, Ming giveth, Ming taketh away, and he is giving a little bit more than he's taking away this time round. So, Gala very nicely done with the Gale Forces and the ultimate as well. Keeps himself safe, and he's scaling up rather nicely as well. Almost got towards that Essence Reaver.
And you can see there, our Colonel is thinking RNG, siding with us as well. And honestly, when you've got the Kraken Manamune completed there for Cryin, like, Gala is in perfect spot. This is looking a little bit tough for TT from what was, although they are still 2,000 gold in the lead, they're kind of hit their spikes. Like Eclipse, you've got the Edge of Night there for the Jayce as well, but he's not going to be doing as much as you would hope for right now. Jhin will get a little bit stronger once he does commit to the Collector, but it's hard for Jhin to find the right fights with how quickly they are happening. Like, the burst potential on both sides is sky high, which makes it very difficult for Sam D to open up with the curtain call and actually find it.
Oh, way! They're just going to try and go for the carry. They get the Lilting Lullaby down alongside the explosive cast. Teen, nothing he could do there. His carry was dead to rights.
And the beauty of having 280 carries on your team is you steamroll. So they do have to be careful, as you can see, though. Captain does have a huge amount of poke here, and there is again the potential for this Reaver's Wall to cause some issues. So RNG playing a bit cautious and not actually going to start up this Baron just yet.
Well, there's no need for them to go too crazy, too ham, too quickly. They have got control, like we said. They are a little bit down on gold, but that's kind of becoming negligible at this stage in the game. Dragon isn't up for another minute 45. Baron is available on the map, and I feel like they're just content to let Gala keep going up. But look at where the kills are on the side of RNG. You got 5 kills on the Cryin, 3 kills on the Gala. These guys are going to build into absolute monsters later on in this game, and Cryin already up near to level 16 or even 14 to 15. He's going to be an issue for Captain. I don't think Captain's going to have a huge amount of answers for what Cryan's going to be showing to him.
No, and it's been a bit of a disappointment here for Captain. I mean, I was hyping him up, certainly. I know a lot of people are hyping him up coming into LPL. This guy looked really good on IG Youth. It was kind of the Shun and Captain story on IG Youth, the team that won LDL, and we saw how successful Shun had looked on IG just yesterday. But unfortunately, we're not seeing the same thing for his teammate here, as it's not been the best of starts for TT as of today.
It has not. RNG will want to try and get themselves a quick 2-0 and, you know, set themselves up for their next match. And again, overall, RNG, I think they're playing Suning later on this week, on Thursday, I do believe. And that's a big game. So you want to try and, you know, not give away too many hands here. You want to try and play as clean as you possibly can. And, you know, go into that series thinking, you know what, we might be able to try and do something here, because Suning looked insane against top esports.
Again, though, RNG kind of playing the ARAM style, Xiaohu wandering down. Could be putting pressure on either bot side, which has that wave pushed in, or even shoving in this top lane, but looking for this mid.
Oh, they're going to find Teen. That's a flash down,
Ming.
explosive cast. Very nicely done. Ming not quite able to get the pulverize down. That does mean that there's no flash on Captain, nor is there a flash on Teen, so two big summoners down, and all you lost was Ming's, you know, flash in return, effectively. So, see now, Chelizi just walk away. Solar Flare completely whiffs, hits absolutely no one, but Ming is now just flicked back into the team. He is the first one to die. Teen almost taken down. Yes, the final little barrel, so it's support for support. Gala gets jumped on, but he jumps up into the air, and there's nothing he can do with a 3-man lilting lullaby. And this is all but done for the side of TT. Everything goes over to RNG. Wei is so damn good.
It is so good to see Wei on a roster that he's able to bring out the capability of. You can see there that big lilting lullaby, the Pantheon in the last game. Wei has just been hungry to get himself into the LPL proper, and it looks like he's found a good home in RNG. Pick up that win, they get the Baron, they get the Dragon, and RNG are primed to take this game.
What an amazing facilitator for his team, Wei, and just able to pick themselves up the Baron. They get the Ocean Drake. They get, yeah, no, he got it. I had faith. He had the running, but I really want to see this replay right now, because you can see as the fight starts, it's kind of a mess of everyone's ultimates, and you feel like the supports just overcommit.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was reaching for Teen to try and go for that, but here specifically, you can see TT calling the shot, we're backing away. It's 1-for-1 at this stage, but this lilting lullaby, it actually hits all four members. Chelizi just goes golden. Like, that is what turns this fight, where they're able to go 1, 2, 3, easy pickups across the board, a triple kill for Xiaohu, but it was realistic. That play was all on the jungler of Orange.
This is very, very positive signs for RNG fans across the world. Wei is looking like possibly a top 5 jungler, maybe even a top 3 jungler, depending on however the season goes, and throwing his hat into the ring to show that he is here to stay. He is here to make sure that RNG are contenders in the playoffs, and you gotta just feel good right now, because this is just clean play executed well.
It's also with a very unusual build. Like, he's completely bypassed the mythic. Like, he has gone full tank kind of front line, where you've got both the Banshee's Veil, the Zhonya's Hourglass. These are all like survivability tank items essentially for, rather than going towards, like, I've seen like Moonstone Renewer for kind of the healing and still a good chunk of damage, but mostly like Leandri's Anguish, even like the Knife Bringer and stuff like that. But certainly this is a build that's keyed into what is the needs of RNG in this game, and it's Wei making the plays that we just saw.
We'll see now where they want to try and go, but this Baron buff is still ticking down. They had a lot of standing gold to take, as there was still a bot lane turret and top lane tier 1 turrets available to the side of RNG. They hadn't really taken anything else there. As I say that though, Gala to be very, very careful, and they're trying to just do this 4v5. They know that the Lucian's not here, but it's just not working. Ming flashes in. They know they can get so much more off of this. They need to just be a little bit careful though. Very hard to run straight in, and there it is. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Cryin going in, trying to do his best impression of the rat, and gets himself another kill. That is almost certainly going to be the game. They have the Baron buff, they have the minions, they've got the inhibitor. That's it, 2-0 RNG.
And it's all over. Consider yourselves cold, TT, as RNG will take the 2-0 here today.
They're going to try and just keep these going down, get some extra KDAs on top of them there. The Nexus turrets have fallen, and in 28 minutes, they are going to secure
usual spots. Like, the entire plethora, a bouquet of mistakes that we saw was on show today coming through from TT. And that's the thing, is that, like, for a team like this, which is again a very new roster, at least you can try and fix these things, but it is going to cost them a lot if they're not shoring up these fatal errors in a lot of their play.
Yeah, and again, look, fantastic work by RNG. Look, it's still very, very early in the season, but you can't help but get a little bit excited for some of these kind of displays, because it does feel like we have, from the games we've seen so far, feels like we have a very definitive kind of like separation between the bottom 4 teams and the rest of the LPL, potentially between the top 2 teams as well. But it kind of slots into 3 different kind of categories for me, and that's why I'm probably getting so excited, because for RNG, the difference between looking good and scraping by could be the difference between playoffs or, you know, not getting in at all. So overall, I'm excited for Wei. I'm excited to see how he continues on with this. And I'm also excited to see how Xiaohu does. If they continue, you know, keeping him in the top side, do they bring someone else in? Because I don't think he had a bad game. I definitely think he's easily punished, though.
Yeah, I'm going to taper my expectations for RNG. I still think TT, I'm sorry for them, are the worst team in the league right now. Very unfortunate that their logo is a crying emoji, because it feels like they're going to be doing quite a lot of that.
Yeah. Quite a lot of that this season.
Yeah, I think I still want to see what RNG do, even when they go up, not even against the top teams, like middle of the pack teams, where they will be better suited to punish the lane mistakes of Xiaohu, the inability to understand where he needs to be on the map. He's still playing like a mid laner who just happens to be in top, and I think a lot of teams will look at that and spot the weaknesses. But at least they have started off their 2020 warpath with a win here today on RNG's side.
2021.
2021.
Yes, we're sadly in the future, and 2020 was the longest year of all of history. But yeah, like you can see it here. Like TT had the opportunities. The captain was playing well, putting out decent damage. I thought Bless played a fantastic early game. It just didn't really come together, and they just overexerted themselves. Stretched themselves far too thin, and just ended up in a situation where they just gave away the lead they had, and twice, as you can see, they got it back and then they gave it away again. So overall, lots to be learned for TT. It's going to be a very long split for them if they don't shore up these issues. And for RNG, you take the positives. There is definitely some negatives. Xiaohu, massive issue in the top side, I personally believe. I still think you can take Wei, look at him and go, right, Wei looks good, Cryin looks good, and Gala and Ming are getting there. There will be a potentially decent team coming up into the later stages of the season. But overall, I'm still pretty happy as an RNG fan, because I think if you saw the Twitter kind of rhetoric with this sort of thing, no one knew what to expect. Everyone thought this was going to maybe blow up and in their faces, and it'll be the worst RNG ever. But I think we can all calm down a little bit and say that they're still a decent enough team because the players are still there.
Yeah, it's just a case of trying to figure out the nuts and bolts of the whole situation. And I think the goal graph kind of shows the rocky road that's ahead of both these teams as we move into 2021. I want to make sure that still, though, there are tapered expectations on both sides, both for TT in that this is a new team and they will be looking to grow and bypass some of these issues that are fundamentally a rookie squad. And then when you look over towards RNG as well, like there is still growing room here. And if push comes to shove, they still have Xiaohu. Like Xiaohu sitting in there behind Xiaohu. It's not like they're top lane lists. They still have other options. And it'll most likely only be for spring until we get into that summer season. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they move Xiaohu back towards mid lane. So overall, these are kind of like temporary band-aids that honestly we'll see what happens, how well these heal as the time goes on and how much of this can be shored up as we start to move forward.
And looking towards expectations for, you know, the kind of the upcoming games, I suppose, for the two teams. And for TT, we just need to, again, it's going to be a very rough season for them. But for RNG, they have a very, very big kind of opportunity here, I suppose, to kind of, like we talked about how a lot of teams, the top teams in particular, will drop games just before Spring Festival and then bring them back right afterwards. And that's when they start to pick up momentum. Do you see them maybe causing an upset win every now and again, or maybe kind of taking a cheeky win off of maybe the top 4 team?
Look, I'm never going to say never. Like, I think that's the beauty of the LPL is everyone beats everyone. But at some stage, like, someone will do something daft and they'll end up losing a couple of plays. But at least most of the times we end up seeing like kind of the top float in. I hope for their own sakes that we just don't end up in a situation like V5 in spring last year.
Yeah, I agree with that. But even looking towards them there, we can see, like, you know, they're against Suning, OMG, V5, and Team WE. So a lot of the top, like, you know, playoff contenders there. OMG, not so much, but they definitely have a couple of tests coming up just before the Spring Festival. But have a look at a couple of the highlights coming in from that game. And again, there was some fantastic moves coming in here from Wei, and he just was able to make everything work for his team. He was the perfect facilitator.
Yeah, he was the life breath of Alistar, and now to see him move across last year, and now to see him coming across to RNG, like, this is such a massive upgrade for these guys. And you can see, like, there's no longer that heavy reliance on Xiaohu in the mid lane, on champions like Twisted Fate or even the Galio to a certain extent, to make these early game roams, to have these plays set up. They now can rely on Wei to get the ball rolling, and not even just in like one lane. He's visiting so many of them, and his team fighting prowess, as you can see there, spotting the perfect opportunity that was needed. The build was perfectly set up to go aggressive for these plays. You can see the Zhonya's popped there, but had the Banshee's Veil to allow him to get in and out. Like, he knew from the get-go what his job was, and it's such a brilliant thrill to see him able to come into his full expectation in this RNG lineup.
Yeah, and exactly, you know, kind of looking at him, he is the MVP for Game 2 as well, so having 2 MVP performances from the man in the jungle. But I think what makes a jungler, you know, what makes a good jungler isn't that, you know, he necessarily looks amazing or he comes out with the best kind of KDAs or anything like that, but he's able to make maybe slightly less potent, you know, parts of his team look better. He was able to make Xiaohu look very, very strong on the top side because he was able to give him that support. And for me, that's the sign of a very, very strong jungle and very strong team player overall. Like, yes, you can get KDA players, you can get people who are individually insane, but someone who's able to provide such a huge asset to everyone in their team is very, very rare sometimes.